19th of August. I'm going to do a little look around the garden because it's been a while since you last saw, what was going on in the garden. Obviously we're looking at the drying rack with all the onions and all that sort of stuff, and there's still harvesting to do, so it's just a bit of a look around to bring up to speed with how things are in the garden at the moment. Because I need to pick some tomatoes, some peppers and things like that, and just general, maintenance, sort of like just keep on top of little jobs. But I thought I'd mention something that I've not really done before, and that's my partner Jill. She does art. It was for a hobby, but she's actually started to sell some of her work. So if you're interested, there'll be a little snippet I'll put at the end showing some of her work that she's done. But if you're interested in any sort of pictures, paintings, it's mainly pencil work she does. Pet portraits and things like that. But anything's possible. There'll be links in the description how you can get in touch with her if you want anything doing. One of the pieces that she's done is this. It's all pencil. It's on drafting film. And it's very detailed. It takes a lot of time to do. But yeah, if you've got a loved animal or a pet or a past pet, if you've got some photos, you just send her some good quality photos as you can, and she'll take it from there. She'll produce you a portrait of your own. She will do prints of certain things as well, I imagine. So, but like I say, there'll be all the links in the description below how to get in touch with Jill, and hopefully she'll do some art. So right, we'll crack on with the garden. We'll have a look how things are going. Right, so we'll start down this bottom end. So these are just some seedlings, some sort of late season lettuces, some endives, a couple of types of endive, some more rocket, some more Grenoble red. That's just some romaine lettuce. If I get space for it, I'll take all the dead leaves off and plant it out. It's just some corn salad or lamb's lettuce at the back. We've also got some sort of red cos and some red salad bowl at the back. Whether they end up anywhere, it's just everything that's sort of growing at the moment. Just there. I've got a few more things to sow. There's all the Orla spuds there and under there. I need to sort through them yet. Because I brought them back from the plot the other night and just put them there. Just keeping a towel over them it takes a bit of time for them to start going green, but if I can block the light off, it just gives me a few days. What else is going on down this end? Sweet peas are not great now. They kind of give up. So I've been picking loads of pods off them. There's a couple of flowers, and when you pull the pods off, you might suddenly get some green shoots try and grow again. I'm leaving them because there's lots of ladybird sort of larvae on there, so I'll leave them on there because they're full of aphids. So I'll leave them be for now, and they can eat through them. And I've got a couple of sunflower reds that decided to topple over, so I pulled them off, just get them drying, so I can sort of you can rub this top off like so, and then you can just sort of like go and get hold of one somehow with one hand. You pull the seed out and dry it, and then sow them next year. They're just some leeks. I did have them in like a smaller pot. So all I did, I just got the clump of them, planted them in a deep pot, topped it up with some compost. I'll fill it up a bit more. So I was going to put them at the allotment, but with rust and that, I thought I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to brim it with compost and just have them as like mini pot leeks. Instead of throwing them away, because they won't need as much water in a great pot like that, and you'll get something off them. So I thought they were already sort of like that in one of the sort of poly bags. I'll just put them into there. It's old potato spent compost. They're doing all right. Courgettes, not been great this year. It's been that dry, and the compost has been, really hard to keep dry. So they struggle. They've done far better in the ground, to be honest. So I'm going to go back to either growing them in really big pots, like 60, 70 litre pots, or in the ground. Strawberries, they're coming into the second sort of run. These are supposed to be ever bearing. That one there has always been small this year. These are Cobra Beans. They've had a bit of a struggle this year, but I've had a few pickings off them. I need to pick them again before they get too big. There's quite a few on there, so there's a few meals to pick. They'll keep coming, until frost or whatever kills them off. The more you pick, the more you get. These are some different sort of potatoes I've got. There's some Swift in these. They're ready. Got some Sarpo Mirror, some Caledonian Rolls, and some Pentland Crown. The idea with them is just growing them for seed potatoes if they're nice and clean. If not, it's a bit more eating. You know, because I'll probably get, I don't know, maybe £30–40 spuds to start that lot, easy, you know, but they'll get harvested probably another month, I think. No blight on them as such. I mean, that's just dieback. You know, there's nothing blight-wise on them yet that I can sort of see that's progressing. Come down to here, but these are so-called giant bell peppers. They've been attacked for months by little tiny caterpillars. So I've been bringing them outside each day. Like I see, there's like might make it out there, there's a little hoverfly hanging around. And the idea is you let them predators go in and try and get rid of the pest for me, because you could be looking for ages and you pick most of them off, but you only need one. So I thought, well, since I've been bringing them out, the tops haven't been so damaged, so it is working, you know. And I do get them in the little greenhouse down the bottom as well, but not as bad. And then we've got down there's the rest of the sunflowers. These are some multicolored carrots. You know, they've been alright, a few mutated ones, but you know, there's nothing wrong with them. They're alright for tortoise and that, and a bit of roasting. I'll just get them out of the way. Put them down there for now. I'll look in the polytunnel. There's some leftovers that I was going to give away, but I didn't get around to it. And they're actually producing. These are like basket of fire and Apache, cayenne and jalapenos, one of each there. It's at Polytunnel. It's been hit and miss this year. They didn't seem to be doing as well, but they've kind of, like, since we had the hot spell, they've kind of gone for it, you know. And it's been tricky with watering because it's just gone so dry because I've no drippers up. So priority for next year is get some sort of irrigation system sorted, which helps combat blossom end rot, because I have had some blossom end rot mainly on the San Marzanos. It seems to be pretty prone for it, so I'll have to just work out whether to change different variety. I mean, I like the cherry Roma. You know, they've been doing all right. But the other thing is the growing tips on them. I don't know why, they just they keep losing the growing tip. But it's like masses of plum tomatoes, you know, and I've eaten quite a few. And they're all right. A couple of basket of fires up there, just in small pots. That's what I have found. I've been growing the bell peppers in 12-litre pots, and I've got some other bell peppers down the bottom, which are called Tarquino, which we'll look at in a minute. They're doing all right in a 7.5-litre pot. So I'm just going to downsize the pots, you know, next year. But I'm not going to do as many pots, because that's been the most time-consuming thing this year, watering. So I'm going to try and go back to traditionals and sort of like get as much stuff in the ground as possible. This is just some, they came in the magazine, some aubergines. This one's sort of dying a death or something. But this one, you know, it's a couple of little aubergines on it that'll come. Ideally, they need plenty of light and heat and humidity and that, but it's just a couple of pots of spent compost, and you know, if I get some out of it, I'm fine. They're kind of neglected. They get a bit of water thrown at them now and then. These are roughly getting, I don't know, probably 40 litres. Well, 20 litres per sort of bed per day. So I kind of run up them once and then give it half an hour and run up them again. But, you know, there's plenty of them. So I've got the San Marzanos there. Then I've got a couple of Moneymaker. They're kind of doing all right. Shirleys haven't been quite as prolific. They're usually kind of trust snappers. They usually get loads on. You know, they're a bit dark, which to me that's like a watering issue. They get that sort of not glossy shine. It's kind of mealy, like an uptake of water issue. And something obviously going on here. That'll probably start to spread into the stem. I need to start hacking loads of foliage off these now. I've got the Tigerella. They've been alright, but not done anything remarkable. So I'm going to get a tomato of each one and eat some and see which I prefer, and I'll probably aim towards that next year. Sun golds, done alright. Typically usually really bendy. I had an issue with one of the stems where it snapped off, so I let a sucker grow from right down there, and it's done alright. It's producing some more fruits. I mean, that's sun gold. It's big for a sun gold, that I found, but you know, it's doing alright. Gardener's Delight, they've not been as good as normal, you know, but they put suckers out all over the place. I mean, that sucker there is just like on a leaf truss halfway down. It's only these that I've found it does it on. Just keep nipping them off. You can plant them if you want to try and overwinter something, but indoors. And what else we got? Alicantes, and obviously the Roma at the end. All in all, you know, it's nowhere near as good a crop as I usually get, but there's a lot of tomatoes in it now, which will start to make up for it. And like I say, you know, that's like a bit of blossom emerald, so I'm not even going to bother keeping it. I'm just going to take it off, you know, because it's just going to, that's how it starts. It just gets a lot bigger, so it's pointless, you know, because you could let it ripen up as much as you can take some off it, but I think I'll get it off the plant and can put the energy into the other ones then. So these are ready for another watering. I'm not watering today yet, so I'll give them a water in a bit. I'll look around the rest of the garden. Kane's out in the sun. He's been loving it. Only had a couple of days, bits of rain, but he's had weeks. It's been a bit too hot for him because he spent a lot of time down under that shade area down there. And obviously, that holds like, you know, for about 60 litres of water, that tray. So I change that 2 or 3 times. I just throw a couple of buckets in, you know, every couple of hours, just to sort of dilute it out. Come on to the onions now. So there's all the onions from the allotment, all Santero. I usually just lay them flat, but that's the only way I could fit them all in that rack, like that. And the garlic is sat on top, all drying out now. See all the tops under it. I wish they were a bit more exposed to the breeze, to be honest, like a bit higher up. But nevertheless, they're drying. And that's the red spark. They're doing all right in the solent white. Solent white is probably pretty dry. So I've got a net over this, and then I've got a polythene cover that's got a fleece under it as well, just to give them some shade. Because when it gets really direct sun like this, I don't think the onions would like it too much, having too much direct sun on them. And then I've got this little gutter thing here, just got some rocket in. And it's the first time ever I found cabbage whites. Caterpillars have been laying on these. I mean, I've got rid of them now. I'm just waiting for some other rocket to get a bit bigger to plant out, so I can take some pickings off this, you know, because they don't need much compost rocket. We've got the exhibition onions that I harvested. I've had them under this net, just give them some shade and that tray over the top, you know, when we've had the rain. But, you know, there's a few decent ones in here. Not as big as the Kelsey's, but, you know, onion there, it's good. Probably 3.5 pounds, something like that. Maybe less, I don't know, but drying out. How well it stores, I've never grown this one before. It was kind of semi-neglected. It took a while to sort of take and put some growth on, but nevertheless, you know, I've got some more under there as well. I think there's like 14 of them all together. So there's plenty to go at. You know, we'll just have to hope for the best and just test, see how they store. Another tray full of compost, got some little tiny like romaine lettuce in there, just see how they go. Taking some strawberry runners, but it's been trying to keep these damp for them to take. Where they're going to go, I need to sort of decide on a proper strawberry bed somewhere, up at the plot or here in the garden. Right, up top end we've got the Brussels sprouts, which have kind of stunted at that height, so I'm not expecting miracles off the sprouts, but you know, because we're a little bit later going in, and we've had some serious drought, you know, and I've not watered them, to be honest. I'm not a big believer in keep watering stuff, you know. It'll find its water. You know, if your ground's okay, it'll put roots down, but they've not died off, you know, because they'll just put a lot of roots out. Can't really make much out in that, but that's a big clump of parsnips in the middle. And then I've got the sort of planting of Grenoble red at the end. You can't really tell because it's dark, but I didn't put as many in there. And then there's some of the red salad bowl at the end there. Still got these Durham early spring greens because Kane's being fussy and not really enjoying them. But I've just been picking the leaves rather than like sowing, you know, putting more in there. I'll just pull some greens out. I'll have the hearts, and then if you take the heart off, it just keeps producing like side shoots. So a bit like a cut and come again. Celery, that's been slow, probably due to the dry spell. I've tried watering it, but it's not like celery blight or anything like that. It's just a bit of something's not right with the leaves. It's just not as good as I usually do it. I think it's called I can't remember the name of that one now. It's a pinkish one anyway. Like courgettes, these were sort of reject, tiny little yellow sort of plants, just put in the ground, never watered them. You know, had a few like rot off and that, but and slugs attacking them, but plants, yeah, they've got mildew. I mean, I could mix some milk and water together and spray that, and it'll keep that under tabs. It does work, milk and water, to a degree, you know. But this is just mildew. It's just part of the dieback process. You take them leaves off, and it'll keep putting fresh stuff out. You know, it's the airflow. If it's got good airflow, it'll do okay. Right, we'll go in the cucumber house, which has been the disaster of the year. These 2 middle cucumbers, I had a few cucumbers off them and they just gave up. But I had some plants that I'd sown quite a lot later, and you can make, there's one there, there's one in a pot there. So if it comes around, I'll put it up and just get a few extra cucumbers. There's some on there. They've been a lot smaller this year, but I think they're struggling with stem rot, to be honest. It's something to do with that compost that's in there. It's holding water really well. You know, it's dry at the top, but then you put your finger in, it's quite dense. So I need to sort that out for next year. And then we've got a variety of peppers in here and chilies. We've got Apaches down the back, got some cayennes and some jalapenos. The cayennes haven't actually produced a single pepper yet, but there's some little buds on the top here. They're a nice, tall, slim, upright plant. The jalapenos have got a few on. And then we've got the tarquino. These are in 7.5 litre pots, and you know, there's quite a few peppers on them. I mean, that's a good sized pepper. You know, and with time, it will change colour. You know, it'll go the yellow and the red. But I don't give it too long, because it'll probably just the sheer weight of it. Because there's not much support on this. I could probably do with soon pruning them back a bit, taking, you know, some foliage and some of the peppers off them, because it's just going to run out of time otherwise. So I'll probably let some more set, and then work on getting them right. But it'll soon divert the energy. As soon as I pick that, I mean, that'll be taking quite a bit of energy. As soon as I take that, it'll probably just start producing more. They are drying out pretty quick. Peppers don't seem to be really water demanding, to be honest. They don't mind running pretty dry. I like to run them really dry and then stick them in like a washing up bowl full of water and leave them for an hour to soak up again, and do it like that. Where some plants, you water that courgette in that, you water it, it'd be bone dry the day after. But yeah, they're not too bad. But like I say, the pots have been the main sort of thing for requiring the most sort of watering this year. And we'll have a look. These are the cucamelons. They've just bunged in a little bed down the corner there. They've climbed everywhere. Full of little tiny cucamelons. I grew them years ago, but they weren't great then. And I've tasted a few. They're not great now, but you know, instead of wasting the space, it's something to pick at, you know. But luckily the cucumbers haven't done so great, so I've had quite a few off these. Giant carrots, a lot of top growth. No idea what's going on down below. They've got probably about another 2 or 3 weeks, and they'll be getting pulled. Them beans there, which weren't sown this year, they were sown last year, and then obviously cut everything off, and they've just grown from the roots, so I've not had to do anything with them this year. I don't think I've even watered them, and they're only in like a little bed down the bottom there. There's lined with pots, so where they're getting the water from is beyond me. But they're just chucking them out. They are a bit tough though. I need to get them small, because once they get, you know, like that sort of size, they can, you know, they're not the best. I'm not a great fan of like the runner beans, to be honest. Let's see you pick them small. And we've got the subarctic planted tomatoes here, which I've taken a load of foliage off just to get the energy to the fruits. Obviously you can see there's quite a lot of tomatoes on that. Mixed size. They're not the best tasting, but you know, there was just 4 plants which I put in there. Obviously, if you remember rightly, one was a lot further on because it was in a better compost, and then the others were just in my own bog standard stuff, or some just the Verve basket and container one. But they've all caught up, you know, which is great. Leeks, the Musselburgh leeks. Can't see any seed spikes coming up yet, so they're doing okay. So I had some rocket behind there that I did from one sowing. I've just been picking it all year, hacking it down to the ground, letting it come back, and it's produced loads. Even though it's gone to seed and that, I just kept pulling it off, and it just kept producing. And these are I think these are Safari, these dwarf beans. We'll try and get in and have a look, because now I've got my big onions out of the way, I can get in, and I've had a couple of pickings off these, so you know, hanging with them. They're great. Dwarf French beans are great, to be honest. There's not many plants there, and I've had, like I said, I've had a good few meals off them. They were picked last week, so they're chucking them out. Nice little compact. They're quite sheltered here. I suppose if you got a really heavy downpour, they'd probably collapse. I've got some more romaine lettuce. I needed some space, so I thought, well, I'll just, there's nothing that's been there for a while, so I thought I'll put them in there, and I had that makeshift net there, so I thought I'll just shove that over the top of them. Made to stop slugs, to be honest, even though they can get in if they want. Just a bit of a deterrent. And that's pretty much just for Kane's food, because he's currently sort of eating our lettuce at the moment. And we've got the Caledonian Rolls, which is kind of dying back now. Again, watering has been a real issue with them. Kind of every 2 days they're getting like a full watering can, a full 10 litres per pot. But it's just flying straight through. It's been hard work watering. But I think everyone's had the same problem this year. And Sweet Candle and that over there, God knows what they're doing. I've had a few that have failed, I think. But we'll just see, because they'll get pulled in a month or something. And then, so I've got carrots I can put in some tubs. I've got some old tubs of spent compost down here. I can put carrots in them, just small ones. Might as well use the room up. And then we've got spring onions down here. So obviously I've had my first sowing, which was from the plot. I've eaten them the feast. Then I've got, I think these are Ishikura, these ones are. So that would be my second lot. That's my third lot. And I've got my fourth lot down at the plot growing away now. So plenty of spring onions. Now all the spuds are here, I can start using baby salads. So just getting some lettuce big enough so you can go back onto the salads again. Before the winter comes and you've got to start eating all the collie and broccoli and all that type of thing. So I usually save that sort of thing for the months where the salad's not so available. But yeah, watering's been a real issue this year. So that's something to think about for next year. These dwarf beans, they got watered in when I planted them, never watered again. Same as the leeks. Them tomatoes, I stopped watering them about 3 weeks after I put them in, because they were just getting their own water. So it just goes to show, as dry as it's been, there's moisture down there. Them lettuce, been in there 2 weeks. I watered them in once, and we've had heat waves, and they've grown. So it's easier if you can grow it in the soil, on a raised bed, as long as it's got good. It's an aged raised bed, and it's trampled down well, because it's a mistake that some people make when they build a new raised bed. They fill it up, and it's too light and fluffy. If it's compost that's in it, don't be frightened of walking it and heeling it down to get it in contact with the soil below, so it can start to pull the moisture up. Otherwise, you've got too much air pockets in it, and it'll just dry out. So these carrots, I've not been in and picked any of them for a long time. So I'm actually contemplating whether to make this this sort of narrow, long bed. It's about 15 foot, I think. I might ridge that out with some manure and actually put my strawberries in there, because it'd be easy to pick if they're here at home. I might just put a higher board on one side, just so I don't have to pick them from that side, to stop them spilling over into the garden, and just keep controlling the runners, because otherwise they'll take over. That's just a thought. That's how everything's looking down the garden anyway. Right, I'll show you some bits of work that Jill's done. There are quite a few more, but I've just managed to get a few off the wall, just to show you, so you can sort of see. This is a pencil drawing. She does some acrylics, with paint, but her preference is pencil. So, and she also does the acrylics that she's done is. She's done some animals, obviously, but more sort of scenic views. There's a little woodland view there, like bluebells and everything. These are some of her earlier pieces of work. And she obviously does like pet portraits, because she wanted to really concentrate on detail, and that is actually a pencil drawing. It's on a material called drafting film, but as you can see, it's very detailed, like that. And then she's working on one currently. Someone's got a cat that's wanting a portrait doing. So this again is on drafting film, and this is how they sort of begin. She draws a grid, and she tries to copy the detail from the photograph, as much detail, and then she begins to add the colours. You know, it takes hours and hours, you know, to add multiple colours, and then you get something a bit more, you know, when it's like the finished project, and that's all pencil. So if you're interested in anything like that, or you want a portrait doing or anything, I'll put all the links in the description below on how you can get in touch with Jill. And if you want a portrait doing, wherever you are in the world, let her know, and she'll see what she can do for you. Right, that's it from the garden. So just bring you up to speed on how everything's getting on. So there'll be some more videos, obviously, that'll keep coming when I can get all the laptops actually to create the video. So I'll just keep getting the footage, and as I get access to a laptop that I can use to put them together, I'll keep them coming. And fingers crossed, if I can get some money together, I'll try and sort something out at some point. It's just it's tough times at the moment financially, so I've just got to be extra careful what I spend my money on. Hence the reason why, you know, this has been a real sort of help to get all the veg, because it cuts obviously the food bills down, which is a massive help. But like I say, there'll be plenty more videos coming. I've got to harvest Caledonian Rolls. I'll probably just keep watering them. I'll just wait for the tops to die down a bit longer. They're not doing the usual bulking up on the tubs, but I've got a feeling that they're, like a lot of potatoes have been this year, they've been quite deep down. I wonder if it's just down to the dry spell, if things are just staying well down the bottom, because usually you get them bursting out the top and all sorts, but there's no sign of that. But I've never grown them before, so they could be an absolute fail, or they might be great. But we shall find out in due course. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. See you then, bye bye.